What is up, guys? This is Brittany here with Spoonful of Spirits. Today, I wanted to create a video to share with you some important ways in which you can cultivate courage. So, in today's video, I'm going to walk you through 5 tips that have helped me cultivate courage, and I want them to do the same for you. 5 points that I'm going to cover in today's video are: number 1, how do we define courage? Number 2, discussing the 2 kinds of fear, acute and chronic fear, and how they show up in your life. 3, the idea that courage and cultivating courage is like a muscle and working out. You have the best chance of strengthening that courage muscle by doing small, brave things often. Number 4, becoming more courageous is not a one-person job. You will be more successful if you are not doing this by yourself. And number 5, my favorite point of all, you don't need to be courageous 24/7. So hitting on point number 1, how do we define courage? Well, the Oxford English Dictionary defines courage as the ability to do something that frightens one and strength in the face of pain or grief. Courage is meant to be uncomfortable, but there are things that you can do so that even when you are afraid and you're doing something courageous, you are less worried about what other people are going to think of you and how other people are going to respond, while being more connected with an awareness of what you want to achieve or what you want to create, what you want to bring in to this world. That's why I want to discuss the second point, which is what is acute fear versus chronic fear. So when we think about acute fear, I want you to think about thousands of years ago with our ancestors in the savannah hunting for big game and a lion appears. Actually, it wouldn't be a lion. Saber-toothed tiger. Let's do that. We're woolly mammoth hunting and a saber-toothed tiger shows up. And it's that kind of moment where you go, oh shit, this might be life or death right now. That is a cause for acute fear. That's your fight or flight system kicking up. That's your body, your mind, your muscles, your nervous system going, I gotta get out of here. And then there's chronic fear. So chronic fear in today's world could manifest in the form of, I have always been afraid of public speaking or of judgment by other people. And because of that, instead of pursuing a career that I am deeply interested in pursuing, I've taken this other path to avoid being in the presence of other people, to avoid their judgment. And it's something that is continuously and on a recurring basis a part of your life and a part of the decisions you're making, because that fear is so constantly present in your day-to-day. That's chronic fear. So now that we have a definition of courage and we have a sense of acute, short-lived fear versus chronic, recurring fear, let's talk about how you can cultivate courage in the face of that kind of fear. One of my favorite quotes that is attributed to Miss Maya Angelou is the following: "You build your courage muscle daily by being courageous in little things, just like you wouldn't pick up a 100-pound weight without preparing yourself." From this point of view, we all start out with a very small amount of courage, but that courage is cultivated through small, repeated action that raises your baseline level of courage. And it also helps bring you into a state where, although you might be afraid of what other people think, everybody is to some extent, and although you have no idea how it's going to end up, you are still driven by the desire to be courageous because you are moving towards that which you want to achieve and that which you want to create. So I'm going to share an example of how doing small, courageous things, personal life, have led me to being more satisfied with myself, more appreciative of the woman I see in the mirror, and also more accepting and content of the people that are around me every day. So, your girl likes to go to music festivals, okay? And for years, when I went to my very first couple of music festivals, I was blown away at festival culture, at the creativity and the beauty and the time and the energy put behind these outfits, this makeup, this hair. It was godly to me. It was next level. And I, just like I've mentioned, have had a chronic fear of expressing myself. What has come with this sense of fear that has taken me several years and now being in my early 30s to work through was that I was so certain that other people were looking at me and judging me or smirking behind my back. And a big thing I had to learn is that when you are an anxious person or you have a predisposition to be very anxious or even depressed, paranoia can absolutely raise its head and be a part of your daily life. And so I would go to these festivals wanting to be more creative and more expressive and to try my hand at these beautiful outfits and these amazing things that I was seeing, and yet constantly certain that other people were looking at me and judging me. I had to learn that people are so much more invested and interested in themselves and their own shit than they are in you. The majority of the people are not walking around every day judging you. They don't even make time for that. They've got stuff in their own head that they're worried about. They have a resting bitch face, but it's not directed at you. Like, they're not even thinking about you. And so with this concept that other people are more interested in their lives than they are in my self-expression, what I was able to do in future festivals over the next couple of years is my small actions went like this. Go to a set at a festival and spend 10 minutes of your time looking specifically at other people to see where they're looking. And as somebody who was paranoid, I had blinders on. It was just so uncomfortable to even look thinking that someone was staring at you. Really unfortunate stuff. And so I remember looking at that couple, at this girl, at that guy, at that group. I could see that as I was standing there dancing and I was in my own little world, everybody else was in their own little world. They were not staring me down. They weren't judging me. They didn't have time for that. The next step was buying more creative outfit pieces. And every time I could be a bit more courageous and worry less about other people judging me. So what I would recommend for you is to think about, what do you want to create? What do you want to bring into this physical plane? And then think about what you're afraid of and come up with 10 small actions that you can take to work out that courage muscle and raise your overall baseline for how courageous you can be. The next point that I want to share is the importance of mentorship, so that you can share verbally and out loud what you want to accomplish and what you want to create. Something that comes with being human, and especially unhealthy doses of anxiety and depressive thoughts, is this idea that no one understands what you're going through. This idea that in the history of humanity, in the billions of humans that have existed, nobody's experienced this how I'm experiencing this. And that is a complete lie. Those thoughts do you no good. They're not true. And it took my opening up to trustworthy people to realize that those anxious thoughts are lies. And the most dangerous thing that can happen is us convincing ourselves that nobody gets it, that no one has felt what I feel right now, that nobody has faced what I'm feeling right now, and that nobody would respect or appreciate my big, wild goals and dreams. It's bullshit. Sometimes we have families in which we cannot be honest like that. Sometimes we have friend groups in which we're terrified of being judged and we believe we cannot be honest with those people. The important thing is that you have to be able to either verbalize or write down what you want to be and what you want to do so that you can start taking the steps towards actually getting there. And last but not least, my fifth point in this video, and what has been the most essential for me, is that you do not have to be courageous 24/7. One of the challenges of living in a hyper-digital world in which what everybody is doing, accomplishing, or learning, or who they're becoming can be thrown into your face every day because of the pace at which information moves, you must realize you don't have to be courageous every day. Brené Brown has said that there's comfortable and there's courageous. You can't necessarily be both at the same time. So there are days, weeks, and months where you can just be comfortable. The key to knowing if you're getting too comfortable and not being courageous enough is to ask yourself, am I moving towards that which I want to achieve, that person that I want to be, or that which I want to create? What I want to promote is the importance of sustainably establishing habits and routines and taking these steps to become more courageous, but also the importance of rest. If you're someone that already has a predisposition to be anxious, trying to be courageous 24/7 can backfire and create even more anxiety, where the purpose of this is to build a sustainable practice and habit that gets you to a point in your life where even though you're scared, you know that you've been courageous before, that you can do courageous things, and you are that much more inclined to go ahead and be brave. Because if we're talking about courage and building it just like you would a muscle, when do your muscles, after a workout, have the best chance of developing and becoming stronger? During the damn rest period. Don't burn yourself out being courageous, because it can actually backfire and create anxiety that you're not being courageous enough, that you're not doing enough, and that just perpetuates the cycle of, I have to be making progress. Stop. When you are aligned with your values, and when you are aligned with what you want to create or who you want to be and what you want to achieve, you can establish your own pace and cultivate courage at the same time. So that is it for today's video, you guys. If you found this video valuable, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what of the 5 points stood out to you the most. Other people have been where you are. Other people have felt what you felt, and you are not ever alone in facing what you're facing. Remember, take small steps to cultivate your courage, and sometimes being courageous is just getting through. Until next time, guys. Bye.